Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Morning Buzz. Tara is off this week. I'm temporary co-host Carly.
Hi, Carly. If you don't see Carly's lovely face, she has a very beautiful shade of like pink hair,
Thank
and
you.
it's beautiful for the early morning.
Thank you.
It reminds me of the sunrise.
Oh, thank
So
you so
she's in
much.
the mood. How you doing, Carly?
I'm doing all right. I woke up very early today. Not gonna lie,
Mhm.
I thought I was so scared I was gonna miss the buzz. Like
Oh,
I woke up my poor roommate. I was just like, it's time. Like I literally just woke up and said, it's time.
it's
And she
time.
got so freaked out. I mean, I did not. I sounded very out of it in that moment, so I don't blame her.
Oh, well, we're all glad you're here, and we're thankful that you made it. Like Carly said, Tara is out today, but we still are gonna have a great show today. We have a bunch of great articles and great topics to talk to you about because it wouldn't be the Wednesday Buzz without it, right? So first up, we have 8 killed in a mass shooting in Atlanta. So sad. We have a fellow resident of Montclair who won a Grammy, and we have fully vaccinated hugs. I'm very excited for this. But first up, as always, we have our favorite sports news anchor. Like I said, Stephen Smith, who, what's the Stephen Smith? Sports with Matt. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Montclair State's women's volleyball won last night against William Patterson University in 3 sets to William Patterson 0. This is setting up the Redhawks to have a first-round bye for the quarterfinals of the NJAC playoffs, which means they're automatically in the semifinals. Today, men's lacrosse will play Newman University, and field hockey will play against Kane University. And on Friday, the women's basketball team will be taking on NJCU. While on Saturday, we have a jam-packed schedule, so stay with me. Women's cross country has a meet. Women's soccer will play Kane. Men's baseball is going to have a double header against Gwinnett Mercy University. Women's softball will play William Patterson. Men's lacrosse will play Gwinnett Mercy University. And the football team will play against Wesley College. And in professional sports, in the NFL, we are in the peak of free agency right now, as every team is looking to improve. The Giants have just re-signed Leonard Williams to a 3-year, $63 million deal. In the MLB, LeBron James, yes, you heard me correctly, LeBron James will become a part owner of the Boston Red Sox. Yesterday, in spring training, the Mets beat the Astros 8-3, and the Yankees beat the Detroit Tigers 7-4. And in the NBA, the Knicks lost a tough one to the 76ers by 3 points after 2 days ago losing a close one to the Nets by 5. And the Nets will play later today against the Indiana Pacers. And today, in sports history, in 2020, throwing it all the way back to last year, the French Open became the first Grand Slam tennis tournament to be postponed because of COVID-19. Let's send it back to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Like I said, Stephen A. Smith, who love it. As always, enjoy. Next up, we have our very lovely news contributor, Mary. Mary, tell us what's going on.
Hey guys, I just want to start off by saying Happy St. Patrick's Day because I have to say that. Today in local news, New Jersey reaches 1 million people who have been fully vaccinated for COVID-19. This data comes from the official state health department website, which also shows that 3 million people have had at least one of the 2 vaccine shots. This makes New Jersey's vaccination rate slightly higher than the national average. Governor Murphy also expanded the vaccination's availability to transportation workers, members of tribal communities, the homeless, migrant farm workers, and childcare workers. The state's 6-month goal is to inoculate 70% of the adult population. In Sofia, Bulgaria, police seized high-quality forged banknotes produced by a university in the city capital. 2 people were detained along with the printed machines and equipment that produced 4 million counterfeit US dollars and 3.6 million counterfeit US euro notes. The city's chief of police says, quote, "The value of the seized currency is impressive. The material evidence speaks of serious crime activity," end quote. Police believe that this is a small part of a whole criminal enterprise they are trying to crack down on. And in today's weather, it'll be cloudy with a high of 50 and a low of 33 with a 0% chance of precipitation. Today we'll have 64% humidity, a sunset at 7:06, and a cool night. And that concludes the news update for March 17th.
Thank you. 0% participation sounds like my Zoom call classes.
I was just gonna say that sounds pretty much like every day for right now. But thank you very for that. Carly and I are currently in the same place. But how does it feel like in the studio right now? Carly is in the studio if you guys can't see her.
Yeah, forecast wise, like it's cold outside, but it's always cold in the morning. It's like very gray today. Like it's like I don't know if it's considered hail or whatever, but like there was like tiny pellets of hail last night, and there's a small bit on the ground. Like I would not be surprised if it starts snowing today at one point.
And it's so crazy because just last week everybody was in shorts and sunglasses and just taking pictures in the sun, and now it's like freezing cold. Like I'm in my room with the hoodie on because it's so cold in here. But yeah, I haven't been outside in the past couple of days, but I can definitely feel it. So
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. Thank you for everybody who contributed so far. Let's get into the news stories today. You excited, Carly?
I'm excited.
All right. Well, this first one is actually not that great, but all the less important to report on. This is according to CNN.com. The article reads 8 killed in shootings at 3 Metro Atlanta spas. Police have 1 suspect in custody. All right. So let's get into this. This sounds pretty serious. In the article, it states that video evidence suggests it was extremely likely that the same person was responsible for 3 deadly shootings at massage parlors. Now, this is where it kind of trips me up because that's very specific. Massage parlors in the Metro Atlanta area, police said on Tuesday. 8 people were killed and 1 person was wounded in the attacks. 2 of the shootings were at spas across the street from each other in Northeast Atlanta, and happened about 30, and the third one happened about 30 miles away in Cherokee County on the northwest part of the city. So this is something pretty serious. What do you think about all this, first of all?
It's terrifying. Like I read into this because I found out about this like 3 hours after it happened, and like it's still really shocking because like some people are theorizing that this was an act of anti-Asian hate, like because like the shooter targeted like Asian massage parlors and killed mainly Asian American women. Like, and that's what is scary because like I know that there's a lot of like violence against Asian Americans going on right now in the US, and that's terrifying.
It's so, and how do I say this without sounding super rude? It's like when it comes to this whole thing and with the corona, it's like the scapegoating and the blame that's been put on Asian Americans, and now it's to the point, crimes against them have risen 1,900% in this country, and it's just like it leaves you speechless. I don't even know. Like it's just it. I'm sorry. Like I'm just keep going, and they have a picture of this man. They said the suspect was actually caught in the Cherokee County shooting. And this was around 8:30. This is about 3.5 hours after the killings had taken place, which I'm assuming is when you found out about this story. And they said that the suspect's name is Robert Aaron Long, and he's a 21-year-old resident of Woodstock. It's a shame, and it kind of tells people check your privilege and check your prejudice. So it's not about checking your privilege, it's about checking your prejudice and knowing when it's like, all right, like, is there a base for what I'm getting at? Is there a basis for what I'm getting at? 9 times out of 10, you can find yourself saying no. Nobody should be that angry that you're going to kill somebody.
Exactly.
Unacceptable.
It is unacceptable. And plus, like, the other thing, I don't mean to, like, get political or anything. These are my opinions, of course. They don't reflect any of the station, but former President Donald Trump definitely, like, stoked a lot of Asian American hate, like, using terms that I will not repeat on air because I don't think it's appropriate for anyone to say in any context, like using terms specifically to denigrate Asian American people.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like I said, my own doesn't reflect the opinions of the station, but I do think that a lot of his rhetoric, you know, even people who aren't, I guess what's the word, outwardly prejudiced or racist, like they still have this, like in the beginning, people don't want to eat at Chinese food places, they don't want to shop at the stores, they don't want to get their nails done at, places that are owned by, Asian Americans, and it's all because of that prejudice, and it's not okay. Like somebody shouldn't be scared. As a Black woman, I know what that fear is like, going outside and being scared, that something like that might happen to me. So I don't want to go out and do it to somebody else. That's not right. It's not okay.
Definitely. It's definitely not okay. And plus, like, the fact that this is all happening, the fact that this is happening in a time wherein, like you said before, like hate and bias crimes against Asian Americans have been going up like 900%, like you mentioned.
1,900%.
My apologies.
Almost 2,000. No, I'm just saying, like, it's almost 2,000%. So like 900% is bad. Almost 2,000. Nah.
Just my heart goes out to those impacted. Like, this is terrifying, and I'm scared because, like, I know, like, according to a article from CBS on the subject, the NYPD has, like, been deployed in specific areas of New York City with a large Asian American population, specifically because they are worried about another one of these bias attacks happening. Like, it's terrifying because this is not like an isolated incident. This is just one that ended in serious tragedy. Like, there are hundreds of thousands of these incidences happening across the US. And there are, like, no words for this. It's terrifying. And the fact that it's still going on is unacceptable.
It's sad. And, just to kind of round out and leave you guys with some gems, please, like I said, check your privilege and check your prejudice. Because when people, when prejudice is left unchecked, it can lead to very ignorant rhetoric. And when that rhetoric festers like a sore in the, I was trying to get Shakespearean, but it clearly isn't working this early in the morning. Like if you let that ignorance stay in yourself long enough, you may find yourself committing stupid acts out of ignorance. It may not be as violent, but still detrimental all the less. So please check that. But on to some more happier news, some lighthearted news. Our fellow Montclair resident, by the name of Christian Mcbride, wins his 7th Grammy, but mourns Chick Corea. So let's get into this story.
So, Christian Mcbride got his 7th Grammy Award for Best Instrumental Jazz Album. He's an artistic director in Montclair. Hang on. I'm just getting one of those, like, little pop-up ads on the article I'm looking at right now. Hang on. Let me just cancel out of that. Oh, it appears they just redirected me. All right, but he serves as a artistic director for a local nonprofit called Jazz House Kids. He earned a Grammy nomination for Trilogy 2, which he recorded with Chick Corea and Brian Blade. He's very, very big in the jazz scene. Like, he worked with, like, some huge names in the industry, like Sonny Rollins, Dave Brubeck, McCoy Tyner, Herbie Hancock, Pat Manthe, Freddie Hubbard. He's worked with pop stars like James Brown, Sting, Carly Simon. Like, I had no idea, like, that we had someone this insanely talented in Montclair. Like,
yeah, I'm not a super huge, I'm actually just now starting, because I have a professor who the first day of class, my Zoom thing said jazz, right? And he asked, and I was apologizing. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Zoom won't let me change my name, but this is my full name when I'm here. And he was like, Jazz, do you like jazz? I said, I mean, it's nice. Like, if I'll play it like sometimes when I'm doing homework or something. He said, who's your favorite jazz artist? And I was like, standing by. And he was like, I was like, I don't really have one. He said, you should definitely come back to me at the end of the semester when you do have one. So now I can say I have one, right? And he's from Montclair. Yes, he is. And his speech was just so, well, not his speech, his message off of on social media that he posted after his win was so beautiful. I'm just gonna read a little bit of it, just to let you guys know what he said. I could say something like, we won this Grammy, and considering this album was officially released as a cooperative and not a Chick Corea trio album, we would technically be correct. But the real truth is what Brian Blade and I won was the opportunity to play with Chick Corea in this trio for over 10 years. Chick tried so hard to convince me and Brian that this was not the Chick Corea trio, but a cooperative group of equals. Brian and I will forever love him for that, but we knew better. He was too much of a giant to us, a friend, but still a giant. Imagine speaking about a close friend like that. That is so beautiful.
It really is. And plus, like, it's also really interesting because, like, he's so humble in this. Like, he's like, he won a Grammy, which is one of the biggest, like, industry awards I can think of. And he is like, just talking all about one of his closest friends who, like you said, he considers a legend.
Yeah, and he said he's a giant, and the friend in itself, sometimes I always say, like, you know, the mark that you leave on this earth before you go is so important. And the fact that his two friends that he worked in a cooperative group in, but they referred to it as the Chick Corea group because they were like, you know, we all know he was so much of a giant, but he was like, no, that's not it. It's all of us together. But they still commended him and gave him his flowers while he was alive and still in death. So that also goes to show, like, how much Chick was of a friend to them and how much of an influence he was on them and how much he meant to them, to the point where when he wins a Grammy, that's not the first thing he says. The first thing he says, I could say we, and it'll be correct. So I love that. That's so beautiful. I'm a lover of words. So as you can clearly tell here on this show early in the morning, I give you guys soliloquies. Yeah. I'm a lover of words.
Just bringing in all the Shakespeare here.
Trying to. I told you guys that the Morning Buzz were all about the education and the fun. But yeah, that's such a beautiful, beautiful sentiment. And I hope that, you know, everyone can experience, even out of music, just a friendship like that. Like where, you know, someone speaks of you like you were such a giant in their life. Like, that's beautiful. That's so gorgeous. You know, next time, you know, if you guys can, you know, give the special person a big hug that you love. And yeah, but Mary, what do you think about this story? What do you think about such a giant coming from our own little town?
I feel like it's great that people, not just who are in Hollywood, are being recognized for Grammys, because there's so many talented people all over the place that, like, seeing somebody from Montclair get a Grammy award just inspires, like, it inspires me, and I'm sure it inspires a whole load of people who are musically gifted, and even if they're not musically gifted, to just win big awards, even if they're not like mainstream, like Harry Styles or Megan Thee Stallion. But I'm really glad that, you know, like you said, the words he said in his speech were moving and impacting, and it's really sweet that he incorporated his friend in it.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so pretty. Like, he incorporated his friend into his win, his deceased friend into his win, and, you know, it just goes to show that we all have an impact on people in life. But thank you, Mary. That was beautifully, beautifully said.
Speaking of soliloquies, like, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
It's kind of interesting that you, like, we mentioned, like, just like getting all English major and like being like having soliloquies and like acting, like mentioning Shakespeare. Shakespeare in the Park is returning to New York City this summer.
Whoa!
So
yay for outdoor activities.
Yeah, I'm reading this from a New York Post article, so bear with me. So they're planning to reopen on July 6th, they're going to be starting with the Merry Wives of Windsor, which is like they're setting this version in Harlem. They shared a picture on their social media of the empty theater saying, quote, "The Delacorte isn't empty. It's full of hope that we'll be together again in the summer." In a press conference, New York City mayor and guy who eats pizza with a fork. There's no exaggeration here. This man ate pizza with
That
a fork.
sounds so familiar. That's an Instagram handle, right?
No. It's something that he actually did. Like the first thing that he did when he became mayor, like he had a slice of pizza and he ate it with a fork and knife on camera. Like a whole New
I
York
respect
slice.
it.
He ate it like looking at the camera too. Like he wasn't even, you could tell he's not from New York just from that.
You could definitely tell.
Yeah, he failed the New York check. But
He didn't pass the vibe check at all.
yeah. But he said, okay, in a press conference yesterday on Tuesday, he said the reopening was, quote, "a great harbinger of things to come in New York City," unquote. And he brought in, like, he decided to get in the Shakespeare vibe and just be like, "For here, I hope begins our lasting joy," which is a quote from Henry the, oh my God, I'm horrible with Roman numerals, so bear with me.
What are the letters? Let me try.
VI.
The 6th.
Thank you. I failed that one part because I had a class where it was like we had to do Roman numerals in math, and that was horrifying for me.
She missed that lesson, guys.
Yeah.
She was homesick that day.
He also added, quote, "The idea of standing in line getting a sunburn feels very good to me right now," which, very funny.
It does feel very good, honestly.
He also added that, quote, "When the first actor walks on the stage on July 6th, it'll be another sign that New York City is coming back for good and for better." So they're set to allow up to 500 people at outdoor events starting next month in New York State. You have to provide a proof of negative COVID test. Without proof, it's only 200. The Delacorte Theater seats 2,000.
Okay, so I do remember them saying that they're only going to open about 10%. So that sounds good accurate.
This could also mean Broadway will be opening soon, which is exciting.
Ooh, so it's looking like slowly but surely we're returning back to normal. So that sounds really exciting. Like, I'm excited to stand in the sun and get burned. Shoot.
Yeah, I just wish I could go back to Central Park because the day the pandemic was declared, I was like, I had a business something meeting. Either way, the company that I interviewed for wasn't very great. I'm not going to get into that any further, but I was in Central Park, like looking at that castle they had. When I looked out on my phone and I get a notice from the AP saying that coronavirus has been declared a worldwide pandemic, I was like far from home in that one moment. Like I will never ever forget that.
It's crazy to think that it's been a year. I think the 1 year anniversary just passed for us. And to think like all of our memories from the past year are all going to be in quarantine or dealing with, how to deal with, being socially distant and things like that. Like it's something, but they say that, keeping track, just, please make sure to wear your masks, guys. But, speaking of Corona activities, no, I'm just kidding. No Corona activities. Speaking of COVID safe activities, fully vaccinated hugs, the many benefits of embracing loved ones. There's a lovely article by Yahoo News. And it says, quote, "We are fundamentally a people who want to be with others." That is very true. As humans, we are very interactive creatures. We thrive on interacting with other human beings. The article continues to say, to talk, to laugh, to hug, to hold one another, end quote. President Biden addressed the return of physical contact during his first primetime remarks to the nation last week. He acknowledged the heartbreak and loneliness Americans have endured over the past year of the coronavirus pandemic, all in an effort to keep one another safe. In a step toward bringing the U.S. back to some form of normalcy, Biden pledged that by May 1st, all U.S. adults will be eligible to receive the coronavirus vaccine. To date, at least 11.5% of the American population has been fully vaccinated, according to the data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The CDC recently issued new guidelines saying fully vaccinated people can meet with other fully vaccinated people indoors without wearing a mask or staying 6 feet apart. So like what we used to do. Very exciting. And with unvaccinated people from one other household indoors without wearing masks or staying 6 feet apart, even if everyone in the other household is at low risk for the severe disease. So that is very exciting, I think.
That's very exciting too. Like, definitely, my grandma is now fully vaccinated, and I'm still patiently waiting for mine. I cannot wait to give her a hug again.
Aww.
Shout out to Laura O'Connor, my grandma. Like, I will, if I ever have the opportunity on radio to shout her out, I always will. If someone is keeping tabs, this is most likely the 7th time I have shouted out my grandma on air in a Morning Buzz segment.
Shout out to Laura Connor. Shout out to you, the Morning Buzz celebrity. Got a whole new day too.
The Morning Buzz icon right there.
The mascot, unofficial.
Rocky who? It just
what's a rock? No, I'm just kidding. You know.
Yeah. But like, definitely hugs are the one thing I really miss, to be honest. Like, I miss giving hugs. And I know like COVID has made like a lot of people like really just like scared to like hang out with other people. I'm just glad that people can give hugs when they're vaccinated.
Yeah, so we can, like I said, return to some form of normalcy. Mary, do you miss hugs, and are you ready to give a fully vaccinated hug?
I am 100% ready to give a vaccinated hug to anybody willing and consenting. I am very.
Just wait, give me a hug.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad to see things go back to normal, but I have you ever like watched a video from like a couple years ago from like a concert recently, and you just see people without masks and you're like, that's a little strange.
Yeah,
excited for that to happen again, but I'm also like,
it's gonna take some time for us to get used to like I'll watch TV shows and I'm like, they don't have their mask on. Wait, this was filmed in 2010.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just like, just maskless, drinking off each other. Like, you ever went back and looked at your old like Snapchat videos of you being a heathen, and you're just like, what was I doing? Like, just 30 people in a crowded basement, just music and sweat and vibes.
Music, sweat, and vibes.
Like, it was just all
like
all different.
I don't know why. It's the same thing with me whenever I watch like a movie or a TV show. I'm thinking, these guys aren't wearing masks. They're morons. Like, it's always
you have
like,
to stop yourself. Like, wait, this movie was shot in 2003.
Wait, this movie is animated. Why? Okay,
it's a cartoon. Wait,
it's a cartoon.
Full stop.
Wait, they're cartoon fish. I'm watching Finding Nemo. That I don't think they'd have masks.
I don't think they would need it. I would hope not.
God, I hope not.
But, we're going to take a short break. But when we come back, we're going to have another news story for you. And this one revolves around, something really spicy. So you might want to come back and check it out. This is 90.3 WMSC Night Upper Montclair. Keep it locked here, and we'll see you in a little bit. Welcome back. Welcome all. Glad you guys stayed. And for those who are now listening, welcome to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Hope you enjoyed the little break. Hope you guys got your water.
I really do. Hydration's important. Got to drink it. What is it, like 8 glasses of water a day?
It's 8 gallons of. No, I'm lying. 8 cups of water. God. It's 8. You're gonna drown. Don't listen to me. See,
my fish needs 8 gallons. I don't need 8.
Exactly. Exactly.
Shout out to
I think it's like 8 glasses.
Shout out
I'm
to
trying to get you guys. Gotta get you guys to drink more water.
Yeah, get more water.
be more hydrated. But let's just jump right into this, shall we? Carly, story of the day. This is according to AP News. Grammy Award ratings dropped. Wait for this. Ready? 51%.
Wow. Oh my God, really?
51. That's half. That's like you and I just stopped watching. It's just you. That's not fun.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Grammys either.
Wow. But in the article, you want to go ahead and read that for us, Carly?
Sure, of course. So CBS's Grammy telecast, it reached 9.2 million households, television and streaming, which in theory would be decent, but you got to remember, these are the biggest awards for music entertainment like right now,
In
like,
the country.
in the world. So this is like 51% drop from last year.
And
Like,
that's not even that high, because think about it. 9 million people live in New Jersey. So it's just like all of New Jersey just watching.
hang on, we got to fact check that one. I know it's like,
Yeah, let me fact check.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there's like 9 million people that live in the state of New Jersey. But, you know, that's
You're close,
still
actually.
like, that's just, okay, so almost not. So 8 point, this is according to populationu.com, 8.97 million people. So that's like the entire state of New Jersey and then some watching the Grammys.
And then the people that claim that they're from New York, but they're not from New York.
But they're actually just from New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're cool kids still.
We're kids. Yeah. But
like
it's the lowest on the record.
That's insane.
It really is. And plus, like, this is like not like this isn't just like a one-off thing. People just really don't like award shows by the look of it, because the Golden Globes had a 63% decline in ratings, and that was just recent. And then the Emmy Awards last fall also hit record lows. So honestly, just call me a cynic, but I hate award shows. These are my opinions, not those of my station. But like, I don't think you can really make like an award show where it's just like handing out like complete strangers like awards fun anymore. Like, you know, even with all the performances.
No, go ahead, Mary. What's up?
I think it has to do with the pandemic, and like it's not all the glam and runway red carpet that everybody expects from award shows. So now that it's not people making it a whole big deal, that like because of the pandemic and people can't really gather in large groups, that affects the award show and how people don't want to watch, people getting an award on a Zoom call. I think that has to contribute.
Could have been an email.
Or through an email. It's not even a live Zoom sometimes. It's just literally like,
Pre-recorded.
They have a pre-recorded thank you. But our music concierge, our music expert, Thomas, what do you think about all of this?
Hey, just want to start off by saying, hey guys, happy St. Patrick's Day.
We missed you, Thomas.
We missed you.
It's been like 2 weeks, but thank you. It's been a while, but thanks for welcoming back. Got my green shirt on. It's kind of a dark green, but
it's vaguely green.
All the same.
But
we're gonna pretend like I'm wearing green right now.
I was really shocked when I heard this story. I think I saw it on Twitter the next day. I was expecting a drop because, like Carly was saying, like a bunch of award shows have been dropping off. I didn't expect a 51% drop. That was way more than I figured. But like Mary was saying, was also, I believe, in large part due to the pandemic. I don't know. It's really weird. I know the Golden Globes did purely
garbage.
It was garbage.
No, I was gonna say
I know you were trying to figure out a nice way to say it. It was garbage.
They did it purely Zoom. Whereas the Grammys, everyone there was pretty much in person. But even I didn't pay much attention to it. I had it on while I was doing like my homework. So
come on, Thomas, you're the music. You're the music representative.
I know, but it's also
unofficial for the station.
But I think also like the pandemic is also like people are getting kind of like tired of like paying attention to like awards. and such. And it's like really also really hard to pay attention when it's like so many people were like snubbed for a Grammy nomination.
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially The Weeknd didn't receive a
Oh my
single
God.
nomination, despite releasing one of the best albums of the year, in my opinion.
I
After
mean,
Hours.
where's the lie?
It's
After Hours was an extremely like the fact that he didn't get nominated, but like he didn't get nominated, but still gave one of the best like Super Bowl performances in my opinion, like ever. Like
it's I can understand why people are starting to not tune into the awards anymore.
the big game, not
And-
the superb owl. Sorry.
And superb owl. And this is from someone who I love award shows. Like I used to be the corny little girl, and I'm going to give you guys my childish dream. Ready? I used to always want to like be one of like the celebrities in like the gowns and the hair and the makeup and in the front row listening to all the people give their tributes and their speeches and music and the performances and the skits. Like I loved all of it. And you know, like I watched, like I remember I was watching Bad Boys. If you guys don't know what that is, it's the record label that P. Diddy had started after leaving I think it was Epic Records. Please fact check me if that's wrong. I forgot exactly, but you know, he started his own record label, Bad Boys, and they had their 25th anniversary a couple years ago, about like 5-6 years ago, and I was watching their 25th anniversary show on BET. And I was, you know, Lil Kim came out. They had 112. Mace was there. Of course, P. Diddy was up there singing. You know, they did a small tribute to Biggie. And I was like, wow, like imagine being there for that. And then Mary J. Blige, I think it was 2 years ago, she did her own tribute performance to herself. And I'm watching and I'm like, wow, just to be here and watch this live. Like I was so jealous. And, you know, just now, like as I get older, you know, wanting to work in music and things like that, you know. But I think what Carly and what Mary said specifically about people, like the glitz and the glamour is not really there anymore. So it's like now you really have to pay attention to the actual meat of the actual award. And it's like a lot of people, like I always say this, Nicki Minaj not getting a Grammy is,
Yeah.
like love her or hate her. Like if you're not a super fan, like I'm not a super fan, but love her or hate her or indifferent, she changed the rap game in monumental ways. She broke records. She's paved ways. Like for female artists to be mainstream, like in her time, she's the reason for that. So it's like, you know, she's the reason for, you know, the Megans and the Doja Cats and the City Girls and all that in between, like for, you know, it to be mainstream. Like they didn't have that.
Yeah.
You know, so but the fact that she's never got nominated for Grammy, like that sucks.
Plus, like, I'm a little salty that like this is just me. I'm also a bit of a Nicki Minaj fan. I'm starting to get into her stuff right now, personally. Like, I didn't grow up. Like, I grew up right around the time she was getting big, but I never really listened to her music because, like, I grew up in a conservative family. So I really like. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of Roman Holiday. Like, that's one of my favorite songs.
Oh wow. Okay, Carly. That's
I'm very basic
Nicki right there.
Roman Holiday is like one of my favorite songs from her. Like
I thought she was gonna say like Super Bass or something. Like she said Roman Holiday. Wow.
I really like her old stuff. Like I'm just getting into her old stuff, but the one thing I noticed is like, and again, I'm very biased because like one of my favorite bands like usually is a Grammy like darling. Like they won best song way back in like 2006. Like it's called Gorillaz. They didn't get nominated for like one of their best projects I've heard in like a long time. Like no nominations, and it was like an album full of like singles. And again, these are my opinions. Yeah, Song Machine.
Terrific.
I was furious. And also my other favorite artist, Poppy, who's like a female metal artist, first solo female metal artist ever nominated. She gave a performance at the Grammys, lost. She lost to like some random band I can't even think of off the top of my head. But like she came in with like this full like battle armor on and like did her performance and she didn't win. That's what I find hilarious and also very annoying. The one thing I was watching the Grammys, I wasn't watching it, but I was like looking on social media and refreshing all the time just to see if she got anything.
I was actually super preoccupied on Sunday. I don't, if you ask me with what, I can't tell you right now, but I do know I was super busy like that whole day. So I didn't get a chance to actually watch it. And I don't have cable. So, you know, I know you can probably stream it somewhere, but I'm not tech savvy. So I wouldn't know where to look for it. But, you know, like I said, like I get it from my mom. Like growing up, she would always watch, you know, she would always watch the award shows. And I grew up with a strong love for award shows, and I would always watch them no matter what it was. If it was the Oscars, if it was the Emmys, the Tonys, even, like I would watch them because my mom. And
You watched the Tonys too? Oh my gosh.
I watched it like a couple times. I wouldn't know any of the actors because I'm not a super Broadway person. I still have an appreciation for it, but still love the art, still great actors. And I would watch anything, any reality show like Dancing with the Stars, like any reality show that would encompass like the awards and stuff like that. I'm like, I got it from my mom. So, award shows are a big part of our history, but I just feel like, I don't know, like, do you see it going up anytime soon?
I don't know. I just genuinely don't know. I'm just hoping that award shows will get better at some point. Thomas, like, what's your thoughts on like the Grammys?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ahead and be a pessimist about it and say no. This is too sharp of a downturn. There's way too many people against the Grammys now for it to really, it could come back a little bit, but not to like the heights that it once had. So I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
I agree. I guess I can see what you mean. I guess, but while we're talking about that, let's move on to our music connoisseur, Thomas.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. We're going to move away from the Grammys for a bit and talk about album release news. The music world and social media were sent buzzing a few weeks ago after singers Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak announced they'll be releasing a collaborative album together. The duo of Mars and .Paak, who will be releasing the album under the name Silk Sonic, announced that the album will be titled An Evening with Silk Sonic, but no release date has yet been announced. Bruno Mars first rose to fame in 2010 following the release of his debut studio album Doo-Wops and Hooligans. Since then, he released his sophomore album Unorthodox Jukebox in 2012, followed by his third album 24 Karat Magic in 2016, making An Evening with Silk Sonic Mars' first project in 5 years. Mars is best known for his blending of multiple genres such as pop, R&B, soul, funk, and hip-hop, just to name a few, and has made a name for himself as a showman for his high-profile and eccentric concerts and performances, which can very well pair him with Anderson .Paak, a 3-time Grammy-winning singer and rapper who is known for his work in the same genres as Mars. The two met in 2017 when .Paak joined the European leg of Mars' 24 Karat Magic World Tour as the opening act. .Paak and Mars reportedly quickly became friends and got right to work on a collaborative project together, releasing 2 tracks from the upcoming album, Leave the Door Open and Silk Sonic Intro, this past Friday, March 5th. In more album release news, Canadian pop superstar Justin Bieber announced he'll be releasing his 6th studio album, Justice, this Friday, March 19th. The singer burst onto the scene at the age of only 16 with his debut album, My World 2.0, earning a large and loyal fan base which will continue to support him through his next 4 studio album releases, making him one of the most recognizable figures in the music industry today. Justice comes out only a year after his previous album Changes, with Bieber building hype for the album by releasing 4 singles over the past 6 months, including Holy featuring Chance the Rapper and Lonely with Benny Blanco, both of which will also be featured on the album. Justice is also set to feature a multitude of high-profile guest stars, including Daniel Caesar, Khalid, Giveon, The Kid Laroi, and Dominic Fike. And of course, like we were just talking about, the Grammys were this past Sunday, March 14th. The show was hosted by comedian Trevor Noah and, as usual, featured performances from some of the biggest names in music, including Harry Styles, Billie Eilish, Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, Dua Lipa, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and BTS, among many, many others. Some of the night's biggest winners include Taylor Swift winning Album of the Year for Folklore, Harry Styles winning Best Pop Solo Performance, Billie Eilish winning 2 Grammys, including Record of the Year, Megan Thee Stallion winning 3 Grammys, including Best New Artist, and the biggest winner of the night being Beyonce, winning 4 Grammys for Best R&B Performance, Best Rap Performance, Best Rap Song, and Best Music Video. Her 4 wins put Beyonce's total lifetime Grammy count up to 28 awards, making her the female artist with the most Grammy wins in history, and only 3 Grammys behind the artist with the most overall wins. So I thought we'd talk about Beyonce for a little bit, if that's all right with you guys.
Oh, go right ahead.
The queen bee, period.
She,
Nothing more, nothing less.
she didn't even release an album. She just came out with some songs, and she was able to become the biggest winner at the Grammys. I think that just says a lot about the impact that Beyonce has on the music industry.
1,000%. 1,000%. No arguments. Like I said, love her or hate her. Just like I said with Nicki, love them or hate them. Like, there's just some people you just can't deny what they've done for music. If you personally don't listen to the music, you personally don't like the artist, that's different. But like, the impact cannot be denied. Like, come on, she's been killing the game. She was a toddler.
I think it's crazy that Beyonce is such a huge name that when she drops a project, say it's The Carters with Jay-Z or her self-titled album that came out years ago, she doesn't even have to advertise it. She just sort of announces, hey, by the way, I just dropped an album like 5 minutes ago, and everyone
go and listen to it.
It debuts at #1 on Billboard. It receives multiple awards and just goes platinum. And I think that's something many artists, even the big name artists, can't really do.
Exactly. Like Drake recently, I know this is not Grammy related, but Drake, I know I guess you can call that an EP. I think he's the first artist in history to debut at #1, 2, and 3 on the Billboard charts. And it's like, like artists like that, like they have just a certain star quality, like, that you just can't deny it, whether you like them personally as an artist or not. Like, did you guys see Burna Boy's performance though? That was incredible.
I unfortunately missed it.
I think I missed it, but I gotta watch it.
It was so much, he won, him and Wizkid. I'm from West Africa, so having him, Wizkid, Tiwa, and Van Jess all winning Grammys for their features and for their albums. Burna Boy won for Twice as Tall. And it was a big win for me because, it's a step in the right direction. I'm not from Nigeria. I'm from Ghana, but it's all the same in the sense of, it's a big step in the right direction being globally recognized. Wizkid won for Brown Skin Girl. The song, it was on Beyonce's Black is King? No, that's the name of the movie that she did for her project that she did with the Lion King. Brown Skin Girl was one of the featured songs on it. And that's what he won the Grammy for. Her little daughter, 9-year-old, Blue Ivy.
I know. I'm
Grammy
so proud
winner.
of Blue.
Like a Grammy winner. Incredible. Adorable. Amazing. Immaculate. All the words in the English language, but
indeed.
No. Mary, what are you thinking about all this?
I agree that that artists like Beyonce have just a star quality, like you said. And I'm really glad that the impact that she's had has been a positive one. And a lot of people look up to her, and she's always like been an inspiration and has been an inspiration for a lot of people. And it's great that she's been recognized and that she's probably on her way to being one of the Grammy, the most Grammy Award winners out of anybody, male or female, at the rate that she's going at and the impact that she has. And she doesn't even have to drop an album, like Thomas said. I think that's awesome.
That's years of work, years of dedication. The queen bee.
I like to shift gears a little bit and talk about Silk Sonic. I don't know if you guys heard Leave the Door Open yet by Bruno Mars.
I haven't had a chance to, but I heard it's so good.
They also performed at the Grammys together, and they were just incredible. Great to see.
Bruno can't make a bad song, so like I'm not even surprised. Like in my personal opinion, like Bruno Mars just cannot make a bad song.
You have a good point there. Every time Bruno Mars comes out with a song, I've never been like, oh, it's just okay.
Yeah,
I've always been bopping my head. And Anderson .Paak, who's not as experienced in the music industry as Bruno Mars is, but definitely has come to prominence in the last few years. I'm not sure if you guys have listened much to Anderson .Paak.
I know one song. It's him and Corday. I don't know if he's still white, but him and I don't know if it's YBN Corday or just Corday now.
It's just Corday now.
It's RNP for the sake of station rules. I cannot tell you what RNP stands for, but just know that the song is titled RNP, and his voice was really good on the song. And I think they did the whole project together. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think it was just
the song.
Yeah.
Just the song. Yeah, but very, very excited. And it was really, really good. Anderson .Paak, and he performed at the BET Awards, and his performance was really good. So I'm excited to see where he goes in the industry. But you can definitely see the force to be reckoned with.
Carly, do you have any thoughts on Bruno Mars and or Anderson .Paak?
Bruno Mars is definitely a name I haven't heard in a long time. Like, I'm glad that he's still around.
Mm-hmm.
I distinctly remember like Uptown Funk being like one of the biggest songs like when I was in, I think, 8th grade.
Huge song.
It was everywhere. You could not escape it.
Yeah. So I'm glad that he's making new music. I haven't listened to his new project yet, but I might try to squeeze that in.
I think he's been so like into his like the tour that came out after 24 Karat Magic that he just hadn't had time to release music for like 5 years, which is understandable. You went on a whole world tour that lasted like 1 to 2 years.
Yeah, it was a very long tour. No shade. Like it was a very, very long tour.
But it makes sense. People selling out shows because his performances, as we've seen in like award shows and other concerts, he's a complete showman. He's always busting out the moves. And I've always been amazed by people, like also boy bands, like they could just sing and dance all at the same time and pull these
and not run out of breath. Like,
how do you do that? Like, I can't even like go upstairs without running out of breath.
You know what I read? I don't know if this is true or not. But I did read somewhere that Matthew Knowles, when he used to manage Beyonce and Destiny's Child and all of that, he used to make them run on treadmills while they sang, so that they would have the energy to have the breath control. And I'm like, I might try that. But then I remember I can't sing, so I don't think it would be much of a help anyway.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I don't think it would help.
But I think that's a good start.
Breath
to at least have the energy to sing and then figure out how to sing after.
All the right steps in the right direction. All the right steps.
And to end it off, how do we feel about Justin Bieber? I'm not sure
Ew.
how you guys feel about his album coming out.
Really? She said ew.
I'm sorry, I've never liked his stuff. I've hated him from the beginning.
Wow. I used to be the biggest believer when I was growing up.
Yeah, are you serious?
Really?
Yes, Carly. When I was what's it called? When I was, because now I'm more of an R&B hip hop type and Afro pop style girl. But when I was growing up, top 40, that was my jam. Belieber, what? I used to wake up every day. I don't know if you guys knew this, but AOL, they used to have videos, right? Growing up, I didn't watch YouTube. On AOL, I used to get up every morning, Saturday mornings, and I would just blast the same 5 Justin Bieber songs every day.
So you're pretty excited for this album then?
Yes. The thing is, I kind of lost it along the way. So like, I didn't really listen to the Changes album.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Yeah, I didn't really listen to like his newer stuff when he changed. But I did know that like that was a more R&B type feel. So I guess I might like it. But I'm gonna go back and listen to his old stuff because I didn't really get a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think that he's a voice. I think he's grown up. He's matured as a person. So I think that's what kind of turned me off from him was when he was acting wild. But he matured as a person and he has a nice voice. So like, I'm excited for this album. And I actually might go like, now this is the age where, back to sender is what I call it. I'm returning back to my, roots. I started listening to Lil Harry Styles. I was a huge Directioner fan as well. So I was listening to, Lil Zane, Harry, Niall, Liam, everybody, Louis making all the songs. So I'm listening to their projects. I'm going back to Justin. It's back to sender for me. So I'm definitely gonna check it out. But Carly, I can't believe this. I'm thoroughly disappointed.
I mean, why be disappointed on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair? There's a lot of other music options out there. I just never really liked his stuff.
To each their own, though. No, they're to each their own. All jokes aside, to each their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never liked him, even like when I was like young.
Wow. Yeah. No, I had the biggest crush on him and all of that. It was crazy. Biggest crush, everything. I loved him in his little floppy hair.
Oh my God.
But yeah. But thank you, Thomas, so much for bringing us, as always, our favorite music man. Thank you so much for bringing us those stories for today. Thank you, Mary, for bringing us the news updates for today. Thank you, Daji, for always fact checking and always holding it down. Thank you to Amanda, the amazing producer. Carly, shouts out to you. She stepped up and she showed out. Thank you so much. She's repping us from the studio.
Thank
Carly,
you.
you have anything you want to say to the lovely people?
Thanks for listening to me. I'm sorry that Tara couldn't make it this week. I'm just glad to be back here. I used to be the host of the Morning Buzz, like the Wednesday edition last semester. So it's very weird to come back on a Wednesday.
Nostalgia.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much. Always remember that the Morning Buzz is every single day from 8 to 9, Monday through Friday. And then we got the weekend wake up on the weekend. So make sure you keep it locked there and have a great and blessed day. We're also on Spotify as well. So if you want to catch up with us later on, hear our lovely voices again, you can definitely check us out on Spotify.
All right.
Peace, y'all.
See ya.